Hey, what is up guys, I'm Review, and today I'm going to be talking about 3 NBA teams that should be better than they are, or live up to more potential, or at least make the playoffs, but usually do not, and they usually let people down tremendously. And now this is not going off of any off-season moves that anyone made this year, anything. This is purely from last year and teams that were expected to do good but ultimately failed. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this video. So my first team on this list is going to be the Philadelphia 76ers. And before I actually do get into this reason, I'm going to say this is no order. These teams are in no order. Just wanted to get that out of there. Alright, so the first reason is because they have tons of young talent. They have Ben Simmons. He's 21 years old and number 1 overdraft pick 2 years ago. And then they also have Joel Embiid, who was the 3rd overall draft pick, and he was an all-rookie who averaged 20.2 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game, 2.1 assists per game. And this is only when he was playing 31 games, because he got injured, so this is while he was only playing 31 games. And then they have another 23-year-old who was an early first-rounder, I think the 12th pick, and he averaged 12.3 points per game, 2.3 assists per game, 6.3 rebounds a game, and he has tons of potential. The dude's pretty good. Why, or what's been holding them back? And pretty much just plain out injuries. So they have such young players, right, but they never get to use them. Because Joel Embiid, like I said, even though he's a beast and he only played 32 games, but that's because he got injured and couldn't play his entire rookie season. And then you have Ben Simmons, who also couldn't play pretty much his entire rookie season with a broken foot. So really, injuries have really held Philadelphia back. So I think that's really why they haven't been performing up to what they could be. And now my second team on this list is going to be the Portland Trailblazers. And the reason that this team should be better than they are is because they have extremely good guard play in Damian Lillard, who's a 2-time All-Star, a 2-time All-NBA. He averages 27.0 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, and 5.9 assists per game. And then you also have CJ McCollum. This dude is a 2015 or 16 most improved player, and this dude averages 23.0 points per game, 3.6 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists per game, and they are one of the best duos in their game because Damian Lillard is a top 5 point guard in the league, and CJ McCollum is probably a top 10 shooter in the league. So with Damian Lillard's passing skills and CJ McCollum's shooting skills, it's pretty much a recipe for success. But then also Damian Lillard can drive the lane when he wants to, and same with CJ McCollum. But what is really holding this team back from being a real playoff contender every year is what their the next few starters consist of. They have Maurice Harkless, who's a young forward, but he hasn't really been able to find where he wants to be in the league. And then they have another young forward in Noah Vonleh. Yeah, he's not that great. He's terrible. The dude averages 4.4 points per game, 5.2 rebounds per game, and 0.2 assists per game. But I think that's going to change because I think the 6th man last year is actually going to start. That is Allen Crabbe, and that's the only other player that I really think has a chance. Because then they also have Al-Farouq Aminu, who's played for the Hornets. Then he went to Dallas. He's really bouncing around the league and all that. And the dude's just not that great. So really, they have 2 good players, and that is it. They just need to build. If they can build around Damian Lillard at all and give him a big guy, maybe this team could easily be playoff contenders, if not second-round contenders. So you never know, but that's one reason I think they should be better than what they actually are. And then my third and final team on this list is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I think a lot of people will agree with this. And the reason they should be good is they have the most young talent in the league by far. They have the youngest, most high potential talent in the league because they have Andrew Wiggins. This dude's 22 years old. He won Rookie of the Year, and he was a number 1 pick in the 2014 draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was then traded for Kevin Love. This dude averages 23.6 points per game, 4.6 rebounds per game, 2.1 assists per game. And if you think that's not enough talent just for one young player, they also have Karl Anthony Towns, who was compared to none other than Anthony Davis, which is obviously you have to be really good. This dude is 21, and he won Rookie of the Year. This dude averaged 25.1 points per game, 12.3 rebounds a game, and 2.7 assists per game. And then they also had Zach LaVine, but obviously everybody knows they traded. I know I didn't say they were doing anything in offseason, but they traded him. That's going to go into the reason why they're not that good. But pretty much the most young talent, and usually young talent equals playoff, and it's success in general, but it's the opposite for them because although they have so much talent, they mostly have offensive talent. So really, their young talent, they just doesn't mesh well. they're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. They have tons of offense. They have Andrew Wiggins averaging tons of points, Karl-Anthony Towns averaging tons of points, and they had Zach LaVine averaging tons of points before they traded him. And, I mean, they are literally one of the worst defensive teams statistically, too, as, I mean, just listen to this. They're ranked 27th out of 30th in defense, and on an average game, they would give up 106 points per game to the other team. That was 19th worst out of anyone in the NBA. So, yes, you have this offensive powerhouse with this extremely young talent that could really get you pretty far, but you also have no defense. So, that, I mean, obviously they traded Zach LaVine for a great defense, but, I mean, still. Karl-Anthony Towns has all right defense, and the dude's all because he's so big, but he's really more of an offensive forward. Same with Andrew Wiggins, obviously. But Andrew Wiggins also has potential to play defense. So I really do think they should be much better. Because usually a team with that much young talent that they have, or had, or still have now, I mean, they should be really good. They should be title contenders with how much young talent they have. It's just, just not working out for them. And one team I was thinking about putting on here is the New Orleans Pelicans, but I think they would have the same problem that the Philadelphia 76ers had with injuries and, all that. So I didn't want to put, someone with two reasons. But, yeah, so pretty much, I mean, Minnesota I really think should be the best out of any of these teams. And then I would go with the Portland Trailblazers, then the Philadelphia 76ers. And I was also thinking about putting the Phoenix Suns on here because they have Eric Bledsoe, Devin Booker, and all that, young stuff. But I think it's still too early to put them on this list. But pretty much, I'm just going to recap. So I think Philadelphia 76ers, they should be good, but, I mean, injuries have really been holding them back. Damian Lillard, they just don't have very good general management. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're just young talent wasn't meshing, so they needed to change it, in which they did. So, unfortunately, guys, that's going to be it for this video. And if you like this video at any point, hit the like button. And if you really, really like this video and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. And also, if you didn't like the video, don't hit the dislike button. It's not that serious. You don't hit the dislike button. And also, kids, like I said, that's it. So, kids, remember, always eat your drugs. Never do your vegetables. Stay safe. Wear your seatbelt. Goodbye.